Welcome back, everybody. It's the King and I Life podcast, hosted by your trio. Again, find us on whatever podcast platform that you subscribe to. You know, all that good stuff, man.
Yes, sir. If you guys have any show topics or you want to come on the show, hit us up at KingAndEyeLife369 at gmail.com. Again, that's KingAndEye369 at gmail.com. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I mean, you name it, we there. So look us up on your favorite podcast station.
Right. Now, jumping back into it, you brought up, how states are like state employees are being mandated to take the vaccine. But we have to make sure that we try our best to put out accurate and complete information. I know Here in the state of Maryland, state employees being mandated, but this really only applies to people who are in professions or positions that deal with a lot of people. Health departments, corrections, and stuff like that, where they deal with a lot of people. They also have the option, if they choose not to get vaccinated, get tested every week. So you make your choice. And that goes down to what Son Solex was saying. You have to make a hard decision about what you want to do. There's pluses and minuses to it. If you come to the conclusion that that's not something that you want to do, then hopefully you position yourself for that, or you have another option out there. Phoenix was mentioning earlier about, I think she had said she don't think it's right that people should be mandated at jobs to take the vaccine or whatever the case may be. But we all have to understand that no matter what our employment endeavors are, there are mandates in place. I can say for me, I don't do drugs. I don't feel I have to be drug tested randomly or pre-employment. But I do that because that's a condition for employment. And there's no way around that. I could be pissed off about it, whatever the case may be. But I'm not going to let that affect my job. In the military, it's mandated for us to take the flu vaccine. I weighed my odds with that, just like y'all. I was like, I ain't taking that. I don't want to take that. But my ignorance to the flu vaccine was, I knew people who were taking the flu vaccine, and although it was a small number, they was getting sick as hell from getting the vaccine. So I was like, I'm not taking it. I'm going to take that and get sick. But that was from me not doing any type of research or whatever the case may be. And then I had to make a decision. Is me resisting to take this vaccine worth all the years that I've put into this? The blood, sweat, and tears that I've put, is it worth it to give it up? No. All right, give me the vaccine. So I get the vaccine every year, and it's not a big deal. I don't get sick. I haven't had the flu, whatever the case may be. I can't say that it's because of the vaccine or that it's not because of the vaccine. All I can say is I have not had the flu, and I don't know how long. Granted, I haven't had the flu long before I took the vaccine, but that's neither here nor there. I get a cold every year. There's medicines and this, that, and out there for colds. Normally, I don't take anything for it. I don't take anything for it unless it beats me to hell down to the point where it's like, oh God, I got to take this for this. There's no cure for the common cold, but the common cold is always out there. The common cold is a form of coronavirus. And we need to understand that there are more than 30 or 40 different coronaviruses out there. They all affect people and animals differently. And yes, they jump from people to animals. So people need to understand that as well.
Yeah, definitely. The thing about the flu, now that you mention it, I can't even tell you the last time I heard anyone even bring up the flu, meaning the regular flu. Ever since this thing is here, never heard of anyone catching the flu.
They catch it. I've known
I'm
people.
sure it's still out there. I'm sure it's still out there.
People who've got the flu. I've known people who've gotten double pneumonia since this has been out there.
Oh, wow.
And to me, when I first heard double pneumonia, what the hell is double pneumonia? Like, that's such a thing? But it is. But, hey, it's all about, what you're researching, where you're researching it from. You might not have heard about it. I've heard about it. You might have heard about some things I have no clue of. But, as you were saying, it's so much information out there. It's information overload. And that goes back to you as an individual, what you feel, what you believe, you having that relationship with your primary care doctor and what y'all discuss.
Definitely. One of the biggest debates in people saying vaccinations affect each person differently. The notion applies to every product that we intake or use. So it's kind of like one of those things, again, where, again, it does affect, each individual differently. So I think that's one of the things that scares people is they don't know how it's going to affect them.
True. And given that people still do shit every day and they don't know how it's going to affect them compared to the other person. People snip lines of cocaine that they get from a random person. It might not affect you one way and affect somebody a different way. A person might have a shot of tequila. It might affect this person one way and this person a different way. So the thing about it, and I know this is like comparing apples to oranges, technically, but theoretically, if you're not scared to sniff a line of goddamn cocaine, why the hell are you scared of this virus? A lot of cocaine can kill somebody easily. A shot of tequila can inebriate somebody to the point where they have a car accident easily. You just don't know. Another one of those things along this line is, when people talk about using condoms and stuff like this, and they say the vaccine, oh, well, it may not protect you from this, that, and the other. Or it may not cure this. It may not keep you from getting this. It's like, well, you do know condoms are not 100% right. Just because you use a condom doesn't stop you from getting herpes, AIDS, and other shit, but you still use condoms, right? Oh yeah, because the same theory can go into vaccinations. It might not, but it might. And people were like, well, that's different. Okay, well, how about this? Let's treat condoms and vaccine as the same thing. Let's just say you don't want the vaccine. Let's just say you go fuck a whole bunch of random people without a condom. Let's treat it like that. And then I want a person to respond to that in a manner that makes sense to me. Because to me, if you say no to the vaccine, just say no to condoms. Just go fuck random people and act like it's, nothing's going to affect you. Just treat it like the condom is just a condom. Like the vaccine is just, no. Treat it like that. And let me know what your mindset is after you process that.
So just roll the dice with your dick, right?
Yeah, just roll your dice. I mean, you're rolling your dice saying, I ain't going to take the. You're rolling the dice, not taking the vaccine, and you're rolling the dice taking the vaccine. So take that, the not using the condom, and put that in the same category.
That is too funny. Since people,
those are right there.
Since people have the option to homeschool, why don't they exercise that option if they feel strongly about not wanting to send their children to school under mask mandates? I feel this way, right? If I had the option to homeschool my child right now.
Mm-hmm.
I would.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, I don't have that option. Would I have a problem with my son having to wear a mask? No, I don't. Because again, he's going into an environment where, he's surrounded by kids, but also by adults.
Mm-hmm.
So, and again, we're told that kids under a certain age don't have to take it, which is fine. But again, if you're sending your child to a school where they are asking each child to wear a mask, I don't find anything wrong with that.
Mm-mm.
Not at all. So to hear parents, be upset about that or feel some type of way about that, I kind of feel that you're entitled to feel that way, but again, you have to look at it from other people's perspective. And the main thing about it is we're looking at it from a safety standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
So we're trying to keep everybody safe. Although you don't want your child wearing this mask all day. And I'm sure there are times when they drop it down or at least breathe, without it on for, a few seconds or whatever the case may be. At the end of the day, you have to put your feelings to the side and think about the next person.
Yeah. When I was thinking about this part, I was hardcore with the mindset of, hey, send your child to school with a mask. What's the big deal? But after listening to what you just said, it's like, I highly recommend it. But then I'm like, at the same time, can you really expect a child to keep a mask on their face all day long without constant correction to where it's distracting to education? Then you also have to understand that how children build up their immunity is being around other kids, getting all types of colds and this, that, and the other. And that's how they build up their immune systems, which is fucking sad to me. Then, as far as the homeschooling part, I think the part of that bothers me is those who are in a position to homeschool. If you are in a position to homeschool, this shouldn't even be a conversation for you to be engaging in. Just make accommodations to homeschool your child. Therefore, because if you have the option to homeschool, you already don't have a dog in this fight. If you refuse to take that option, then it's like, what is your argument? What is your issue? Like, you have the option to homeschool, but I think a lot of people who were pro homeschool probably got to the point where I'm tired of seeing this child in my house every day. Or they're not equipped to educate their child at home because they either don't have the patience, the time, or whatever the case may be, or maybe the resources. But then you have to look at these people and say, are you just making noise to make noise, or are you really in it about the well-being for your child? Because if you have the option to homeschool, then homeschool. If, when it's first hit and they shut schools down and, after about a month or two, you was like, damn, school's got to be open. I want this child out. You have to look at that. And it's like, when you balance all of that out, it's like, I'm not understanding what y'all issue is, because it takes community to make things happen. And as a community, y'all can be like, all right, let's get together and, do X, Y, and Z so that these children can get interaction from other children and the education they need. And if we're doing it in a community setting, it takes the burden off of one parent who may get frustrated doing one thing.
True. So true. Again, there are parents for both sides of it. And I think that it's one of those cases. And again, this is the ideal world where people on both sides will try to understand what the person on the other side of the subject is going through.
Mm-hmm.
And not just being so focused on what you and your position is.
Right.
Because we're talking about kids here, you know what I'm saying? People I find are very touchy about their seeds, as they say. So anything that brings or puts their child in harm's way, they're definitely going to feel some type of way about it.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be very emotional about it. But you have to take a step back and think, to the best of your abilities about someone else.
Right.
And don't focus on what you feel is the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I hate that, our kids, our young kids in general, all of them are having to experience this to a certain degree.
Right.
I wish it wasn't like this. I really do. But the fact still remains that this is what they're having to go through. So again, you have to set your feelings to a side as a parent and do what's overall best for not only your child, but every child.
Exactly.
So the mask is something that, again, at this moment in time, is the best route to go.
Yeah. Yeah. And to add to that, you got the governor of Florida who's talking about, who was talking about trying to take funds from the education system if they mandate masks. Like, what kind of ignorance is that? So you're telling me because people are looking out for what's best for these kids, you're going to take money from the education system to make the kids suffer? It's like, haven't they been suffering enough? I'm sure these kids are tired of sitting in the house. I'm pretty sure they want to go to school and see their friends. I'm pretty sure they want to do all of these things. But instead of you being an understanding leader in your state, whatever state you're in, you want to make it difficult for parents and children and the people who are responsible for educating these children and taking care of these children when they're not in the house with their parents. That goes back to what we've been saying the whole time. You have to think about other people. You can't make this a political sport. You can't make this a clout chasing thing. You can't sit there and make silly arguments when they really don't matter, when deep down in your heart, you probably don't even feel like that. You probably feel like it should be a max mandate, but you're probably trying to appease this small amount of people who are against X, Y, and Z, who are not even making rational thoughts, who are not even really thinking about their kids. Like, do they sit there and ask their children how they feel about this? Or are you a parent that says, you know what, this is my child and I want to do what's best for my child?
Yeah. I mean, I live in the state of Florida. I can't say I agree with everything he's saying. But defunding the school system, I'm not sure about that one. I can't.
You're right.
Pretty sure I can't go along with that, because if you're taking, like Soul Toucher was saying, the necessary resources away from the kids, then what are we really doing here? What are we doing?
Right. Yeah. So it has been proven through data that masks and or vaccination prevent the spread or lower the chance of serious effects, yet people refuse to do either. We've touched on this before. So, I mean, I don't think it's much that we have to beat into it. But at the end of the day, I for the life of me, I can't understand why people at the very least can't wear a mask. Like I said, people in China, they're doing it damn near every day. We used to laugh and joke about Michael Jackson wearing a mask. Now I sit back and be like, hey, my bad.
Yeah. Again, I can't emphasize it enough that I have no problem wearing a mask. Do I believe it completely and totally stops you or prevents you or whatever the case may be? Again, I have evidence that says yes. I have evidence that says no. It's just a matter of personal opinion. But in this particular situation, I ain't gonna do what's best for me, and I'm gonna wear that motherfucker.
Right.
So, and it's just one of those things. For me, I feel like I respect everyone that comes across my path until they show me they don't respect me.
Right.
So if you walk around with a mask on or don't walk around with a mask on, that's your choice.
Mm-hmm.
But don't come get up in my face talking about my mask, because you're not going to like what I tell you. I promise you.
Yeah. You know, one more thing that I add about the mask is that to be completely honest, people are not wearing masks properly overall. And I say that because when you wear a mask, you're supposed to wear the mask over your mouth and nose. You should not drop the mask to your chin, around your neck, and whatever the case may be, and then throw it back on your face. You're defeating the purpose. And honestly, if you're going to wear a mask, you should have a pack of masks with you. It doesn't matter if they're reusable. The thing about it is, if you wear a mask and you go somewhere where there's, shopping or whatever the case may be, where there's a lot of people, you have to comprehend that whatever is in the air where you are is getting attached to that mask. You also have to understand, and I don't understand why people don't understand, is that anywhere you go, you're getting particles from wherever you've been, on your clothes, in your hair, on your hands, on your face. So when it comes to masks working and not working, yes, they work. But at the same time, you also have to look at every factor out there. You can't eliminate any factors when it comes to that. Because like my job in the Army, I'm a chemical operations specialist that deals with biological, chemical, and nuclear hazards. If I spray a chemical in the air and it gets on your clothes, that doesn't mean it just gets on your clothes. If I spray it in the air and you breathe it in, you have to accept the fact that you breathe something into your body. You also have to take into consideration that it got on your clothes. If you just wash your clothes and you don't know how it got into your body, then you're not going to do what you need to do to protect yourself. So when it comes to masks, it's like, all right, I wore a mask in Walmart. I need to throw this mask away before I get in my car. I can't have this mask and put it in my car and then wear it in the Target. But at the same time, it's like my clothes are potentially contaminated. So it's like when you look at the grand scheme of things and you look at, well, damn, people still getting sick. Everybody doesn't wash their hands. Everybody, when people go in the house, they don't decontaminate themselves before they walk in the door. A lot of people who walk around outside and keep their shoes on and walk around in the house. I do that. I know people who take their shoes off and they walk around in the socks. So you really have to weigh every aspect out there when it comes to any type of thing that affects our health overall.
Yeah. I mean, it really is that important. I have gone to like Walmart or something, and I'm like, I look around my car, I'm like, damn, forgot my mask. I would drive my ass all the way back home, go get that mask, and then come back. Because some people are like, oh, well, fuck it. I'll just buy one while I'm in there. No, we're not going to do that. I'm not.
Right.
To each their own, but I'll take my ass back home, get my mask, and I'll come back. It's kind of like dipping your your joystick off into the pool. You know what I'm saying? Once you've been contaminated with the stuff in the pool, it's kind of like too late to go back and put
you can't be like
the helmet on.
Damn, let me go put this on real quick. It's like, nah, you might as well keep swimming. That's what I was saying about, compare not using a condom to not using the vaccine. Hey, what you gonna do? You gonna put your scuba gear on or you're not? Either gonna take the vaccine or you're not. You just have to deal with whatever goes with it.
For sure. Okay, so interesting how some anti-vaccine people, mainly politicians who have caught COVID, saying they regret not following recommended guidelines. That's kind of tricky right there. And the only reason I say that is because I know of someone who caught COVID and they went, in the hospital and were very sick. I mean, near death sick. And, through the grace of whatever God they may subscribe to, they came out. They got, better. And they're still saying, no, I'm not taking it. So it's kind of like you've gone through the storm of, catching this thing and you still don't want to take the vaccine for it. And again, that's your right. But I just think that when you're in the public eye, you have to be more responsible with how you handle things.
Definitely.
It's kind of like not what you say, but how you say it. So, you and I both realize the power of our voices and, all the different countries that we're in right now, that what we say influences people to a certain degree. So it's kind of like you and I, we both try, even though we may have different stances on things, we try to, I'm not going to say regulate, but we try to articulate,
right,
our points of view the best that we can and be responsible about it. Because at the end of the day, people are subscribing to, our channel and again, to people who are in the public, and they're looking for them to a certain extent for leadership or, their opinion, because for whatever reason that may be, they may value that opinion.
Right. Definitely.
So again, I just think with some of these governors and mayors and all of that, you have to speak responsibly. You have dozens of people on your staff that can do research for you. If you can't do it for yourself, and find whatever bit of information that you're looking for. So when you do come out and you do speak on this subject, you can speak responsibly with information that is relevant or is true to the findings that you're putting out there, meaning the scientific community or the science community can back up those facts that you're stating.
Right. And to add to that, the people who've gotten it, was anti before, went to the hospital, was, facing lights out, came through, said, oh, I'm not taking it, blah, blah, blah. And then, I know of people who've had that same situation. I also know of people who've been on social media, anti-mask, anti-vaccine, anti-this, anti-that. They get in there, they catch it. And, on their deathbed, I wish I would have took the vaccine. I wish I would have did this. I wish I wasn't doing this. I wish I wasn't doing that. And it's like, that's the part of it that pisses me off, when it comes to all of it. It's okay to have your opinion, but don't stand on the mountaintop saying, oh, this doesn't work or this. Don't use your platform as a bullhorn to sway people's decisions of what they would, taking them out of what they would normally do for themselves.
Right.
Because to me, that's like a communist type of attitude. You know, you're forcing your opinion on people and they're following you. They're following you into the fire. And it's like you ain't gonna protect them when they get burned. You're just not. So, you know, when you're on social media talking about you anti-vaccine and you're convincing people of this, convincing people of that, and you get COVID, you're on your deathbed saying, I wish I would have took the vaccine, and you end up dying. You have to understand the impact that you've put on these people. And some of these people will take your message hardcore all the way, knowing damn well you died from it. And you also have to take into consideration the family that you leave behind. You know, you out here promoting one thing, you get sick, you die, and now your family is left being, you know, damn, he was anti this, he was doing this, he was doing that. Now she is dead from the very thing that they were protesting. And your child, your wife, your mother, your father, your brother, sister is left with your last message. And your last message was pretty much F the vaccine, F mask, F safety protocols. How you have to take into consideration the impact of those words and those actions and how they impact the greater society when it comes to all of that. And if you cannot respect that, I don't think you need to be in the public eye.
Exactly. Just in closing, I will say this to people. I'm not for the vaccine. I'm not against the vaccine. I'm for what's right for me. And this is the kind of stance, you know, that I pretty much take throughout my life. Just because I'm not for something, that don't mean I have to be against it. Who am I to tell you what's right for you? I don't have that right. I had nothing to do with you being here. Meaning I'm not the creator. I didn't say, you know, hey, Joe Blow, you need to do this or you need to do that. No, that's not for me to do. You as an individual, you have to figure out what works for best for you. So again, if you want to take it, take it. That's what speaks to your spirit and your soul. Take it. But if it doesn't speak to your spirit or your soul, or if you feel you don't, you know, want to take it, then don't take it. That don't mean that you have to attack the people around you who do take it, and vice versa. Let that person be who they are and let them be comfortable with the decision that they make. Because at the end of the day, there's only one way in here and one way out of here. And we all know what that is, right? We're born here. We do what we do while we're here, and then we leave here. So at the end of the day, I ain't got time to be sitting up here trying to judge somebody else about what they did while they were here. I'm too busy trying to live my own life and get through this thing the best way I know how. So do what you have to do to protect you. Do what you have to do to protect your family. And just live your life the best way you know how. At the end of the day, I think that's the only thing the Creator can ask you to do. But until then, everybody be safe, man. Just be safe.
He said it all. I can't disagree at all. That's what it is. Stop judging. Live for your life the best way that you see fit. Hey, you come in here one way, you go out the same way.
That's it.
So, with that being said, thanks for tuning in to King and I Life podcast. We were talking about COVID vaccination. Again, the information is out there. And I'll just say, have a relationship with your primary care physician. That should be your best source for the most accurate information. Stop taking, social media's opinions, this, that, and the other. Take what's in the news with a grain of salt. I mean, they give good information, but at the same time, that relationship with your primary care physicians should be at the top of the list. And having a relationship should be uh, the utmost thing, because they are the ones that you should entrust with your health, your healthcare decisions, and your healthcare outcomes. And that's all I have.
For sure. I want to send this shout out to this young man who's in the Tallahassee area with me. He's a young man. He owns his own car detailing business. And the dude is cool as hell. I'll be honest with you. I met him for the first time today, actually. He came to my house and cleaned my wife's vehicle and mine. We both own, SUVs. I own the smaller of the two. But anyway, dude did a fabulous job on both vehicles. I mean, inside and out. I'm very particular about how I keep my vehicles. Anybody who knows me know that I love cars, motorcycles, anything with an engine or wheels, I'm there. But anyway, I'm very particular about my vehicles. So for me to tell you this guy is that good, trust me, he's that good. And I'm going to shout him out again this coming Thursday live. But if you're in the Tallahassee area, his name of his company is called Juices Auto Spa LLC. Again, that's JUICES Auto Spa LLC. And again, hey man, look him up. Dude does a damn good job. So shouts out to Juices Auto Spa. And again, I'll be shouting out him again this coming Thursday live. So thanks again for the service you provided for me and my wife. And she's happy because she's one of those very, how should I put it? She's even more spot on with her. Thank you. More particular about her shit than me. Yeah. So again, if she's happy, I know you will be happy too. But anyway, shouts out.
And that's it. King and Life podcast, and we are out.
Deuces to the truces.